I, 28M, caught my fiancée, 27F, cheating 2 weeks before our wedding, she begged, but I exposed her instead. I always thought Emma and I had that kind of love people envied. We met in college, she was studying nursing, I was doing business management, and hit it off during a campus event. I wasn't even supposed to be there, just tagged along with a friend. She laughed at a dumb joke I made about the stale cookies they were giving out, and that was it. We talked the rest of the night. Exchanged numbers. Had our first date at a hole-in-the-wall taco place near campus a few days later. 4 years later, I proposed to her on a hiking trail just outside the city. I remember how shaky I felt holding the ring box in my hand. She cried when she saw it. Threw her arms around me and said yes without hesitation. I was on top of the world. I'd never loved anyone like that before. I thought we were solid. We dove into wedding planning right away. Booked a small beach venue, hired a live acoustic band, even did DIY invites to save money. Every detail felt special. Emma was so involved, excited, energetic, full of ideas. I thought she just loved the process, but looking back, I think she was trying to drown out her guilt. The first red flag came 6 months before the wedding. Emma started getting close to a new group of friends from her gym. She started staying later and later after workouts, saying they all hung out to grab smoothies or do post-cardio stretches. I didn't question it much at first. I trusted her. But things started to feel off. She became protective of her phone. Changed her passcode. Claimed it was because of work policies. She also started getting a lot more distant at home, always tired, not in the mood to cuddle, let alone be intimate. I chalked it up to wedding stress. I didn't want to be the paranoid fiancé. The moment everything shattered was 2 weeks before the wedding. That day, I left work early to surprise her. I'd written her a letter, something heartfelt I planned to give her the night before our wedding. I even picked up her favorite Thai food on the way home. I was smiling the whole drive, imagining her reaction. I thought I was being the best partner I could be. I walked into our apartment and immediately felt something was wrong. The living room was empty, but I heard laughter, low, male laughter, coming from the bedroom. My heart dropped into my stomach. I stood frozen for a moment. I told myself maybe it was the TV. Or maybe someone from her family stopped by. But the voice didn't sound familiar. It was deeper. Confident. Cocky. I set the food down quietly and moved toward the bedroom. The door was slightly open. I saw her on the bed, half-dressed, tangled up with a guy I'd never seen before. Shirtless. Smirking. Holding her waist like it was routine. She didn't scream. She didn't gasp. She didn't even look surprised. She looked irritated, like I'd ruined her plans. I just stood there. I don't know how long. Everything felt muted, like I was underwater. My chest felt like it had been cracked open. Emma finally realized I wasn't moving. She jumped up, grabbed the sheet, started stammering, "It's not what it looks like. I can explain." The guy muttered something under his breath, pulled his jeans on, and walked right past me without making eye contact. I didn't say a word. I turned and walked out. She chased me to the hallway, crying, grabbing at my arm, begging me to listen. Saying it was a mistake and that it meant nothing. That she didn't know what she was thinking. That I wasn't supposed to come home early. That last line stuck in my brain like a splinter. I looked her dead in the eye and said, "We're done." She started sobbing harder. I didn't wait. I got in my car and drove away. I stayed at my buddy Caleb's place for a few days. He tried to keep me distracted with drinks and video games, but I barely slept. I just kept replaying it all in my head. The way she looked at me. Like I was the one who ruined something. On day 3, I stopped being numb. I got angry. Furious, actually. And I decided she wasn't going to walk away from this without people knowing what she did. I remembered that her iPad was still synced to our cloud account. I logged in and found everything: texts, photos, even some voice messages. Her and the guy, Mark, some dude from her gym, had been hooking up for nearly 3 months. They had code names. She called him Coach. He called her Wifey. The texts were disgusting. They joked about me. She said I was predictable. That she felt smothered. That she couldn't wait to feel alive again. There was even a selfie she'd sent him, her sticking out her tongue in the wedding dress boutique mirror, captioned, "Trying on the dress I'll never wear for real." That's when I made my decision. I wouldn't call the wedding off quietly. She deserved to be exposed. She had planned a joint bachelor-bachelorette party, a weird trend she insisted on. Said she wanted our friends to get to know each other. It was happening at a bar 2 blocks from our place. I showed up early, before anyone else arrived, and waited outside. Emma's dad arrived first. He greeted me warmly. I handed him a manila envelope, said, "You'll want to read this," and walked away. Inside were printed screenshots of the messages, photos, and a short note that read, "Your daughter wanted to feel alive again. She's single now. She got her wish." I didn't stick around for the fallout. But oh, did the fallout come. Update 2. The next 24 hours were chaos, from what I heard through mutual friends and group chats. Apparently, Emma's dad opened the envelope right in front of her mom. Her face went pale. She tried to snatch it away, but it was too late. People saw. People talked. One of her bridesmaids even walked out. By the next morning, half of our wedding guests had pulled out. The venue called me to confirm if it was really cancelled. Her aunt emailed me, saying she was so sorry and that Emma always had a selfish streak. Even her cousin, who I barely knew, messaged me, "You dodged a bullet." Emma, meanwhile, tried damage control. She posted a vague status on Facebook about not all stories being what they seem and privacy during hard times. But that didn't stop the screenshots from getting leaked. Someone she'd sent them to, probably Mark or one of her gym buddies, forwarded the messages around. It spread like wildfire in our social circle. She texted me the night after the party. "You didn't have to humiliate me like that. You're being cruel. You used to love me." I didn't reply. The next week was a blur. Vendors started reaching out about refunds. My parents wanted to come down and help me process everything, but I told them I needed space. I just went silent. Deleted social media. Blocked her on everything. Threw out all the wedding junk, planners, receipts, samples, the save the dates with our smiling faces. She didn't stop, though. 3 days after the fallout, she showed up at Caleb's place. She looked like a wreck, no makeup, red eyes, clutching a plastic bag full of what I guess were memories. She begged to talk. I said no. She cried, saying she made a terrible mistake and that Mark didn't mean anything. That she was just scared of settling down and wanted to feel something new. I just looked at her and said, "You threw us away." She told me she wanted to try counseling. That if we could just meet once, talk it through, she'd do anything. I asked her one question: if I hadn't walked in, how long were you going to keep lying to me? She didn't have an answer. I shut the door on her while she stood there sobbing. Over the next 2 weeks, she tried everything. Emails. Letters. Even sending mutual friends to talk to me. But most of them had already taken my side. They saw who she really was. Then came the cherry on top. Mark dumped her. Yep. About a month after the wedding was supposed to happen, I got a message from an unknown number. It was Mark. The guy she cheated with. Yo, man. I didn't know she was engaged. She told me you guys were figuring things out. I'm sorry for being part of that mess. She's kind of nuts, dude. That was the only time I laughed during the whole situation. She gave up everything for someone who didn't even want her in the long run. And now she was alone. The last I heard, she moved in with a friend from work and tried to start fresh. But the damage was done. Her reputation was wrecked. Half her family stopped speaking to her. Her job transferred her to a different branch, whether voluntary or forced, I don't know. As for me, I got promoted at work. Traveled to Iceland like I'd always wanted. And started focusing on my own happiness. I met someone new 6 months later. We're taking things slow. She knows everything. And she respects the scars I carry. Do I regret exposing Emma? Not for a second. She wanted freedom. Now she has it. Along with a reputation for betrayal, selfishness, and deceit. What do you think? Tell us in the comments. Like the video and hit the subscribe button for more Reddit stories.